What's going on, Commonwealth, and welcome back to another great episode of the Bluegrass Soccer Cast. Of course, your home for all things soccer right here in the beautiful state of Kentucky. I'm Mr. Jimmie Martin, of course, the host of the show, and tonight flying solo for at least part of the show. John has the night off, but nonetheless, we have a fantastic guest for tonight, kind of filling in for John for the first portion of tonight's show. She is a forward for Racing Louisville. Please give a warm round of applause for Miss Kirsten Davis. Kristen, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, Kristen, I don't know if you've seen our show before recently, but we do a random question. I have a random question generator, just a random icebreaker to start every show. So you're okay if we start with that?
Yes, of course.
All right, let's see. Oh, gosh. Have you ever met your idol? This is actually an interesting question for this.
No.
No. Okay, who is your idol and how can we hook you up?
Probably Abby Wambach.
Okay.
Idol.
I'll dig in my Rolodex and see if I can make that happen.
Okay.
I did meet Brianna Scary from the 99ers. She was a goalkeeper. Yeah, that's actually who signed the ball that's behind me.
Oh, that's so cool.
She came to our town for like a book reading and stuff like that. So she was really, really awesome.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've met any of my idols. One of my idols, especially in soccer, is David Beckham.
Oh,
and I have not yet met him, but I'm convinced I'm going to get to Miami. I'm going to get to a game, and with the real Miami team, Inter Miami, not Miami FC.
Yeah.
No, speaking of, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that'd be so fun. I would love to see a game with Inter Miami.
Yeah, with Messi and Busquets and everybody. Oh.
Yes.
Speaking of Miami FC, though, they are playing our Lou City tonight. The match is at half right now, and it is 1-1. So you can follow along on that down on the bottom of the screen here, or you can dual screen. You can pay attention to both, right? Yes. Kristen, want to dive in. I want to immediately kind of start talking about the Challenge Cup run. It was great for Racing Louisville, making it all the way to the championship game. But kind of from your perspective, how was that run? What did it mean to you as a player and to the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really cool experience to be able to make it out of the bracket and to play in like a playoff game. Like for me personally, that was my first professional playoff game. So I think that was really cool to be able to do that in the first time in racing history to do that. So, I mean, I think the overall experience, it was really positive. I mean, I wish we won the final, but I mean, it's still something we can look back on and be proud of because we played really well in the group stages and then played really well in the semifinal. And I think some tiredness kind of played into the final because it was a very quick turnaround across the country. But I mean, like I said, I think we can all just be so proud of how we played as a team from the whole depth of the team got to play in the Challenge Cup. So I think that's really cool and special that we were able to do that.
Yeah, and John is there in the chat. He has lost his voice. MIA. Does that mean Miami, John? Are you in Miami right now? Because if you're in Miami and I'm not, there's a major issue. So you mentioned the kind of quick turnaround, just for kind of everybody to refresh everyone's memory. You played Wednesday night in Seattle, and then Saturday at like 11 local time, or was it noon local time?
I think it was Carolina. 12 or 12:30. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then the rain delay.
Yes. So that pushed it back a few hours. Yeah, it was a mess.
So talk to us about, it was a great run in the group stage, but specifically going to Seattle, playing the rain, and beating them. What was that like?
I mean, I think it was really fun and it was really special. I mean, it's a very far trip for us to make. So, I mean, we didn't let the tiredness get in the way for that. And I think playing on their home field and beating them there, I think that just made it even more special because we knew that could be a big task. But, we were able to pull it off and defend the lead once and win the game.
Yeah. Well, and then especially, beating Portland the weekend before and then going out there. Did you all stay out of Louisville from Wednesday to Saturday, or did you all come back in between?
in Seattle, so we morning after the game and flew to and then we like late afternoon all of Friday, so Saturday.
Okay. So not too crazy of travel then. It's not like you were just on the road that whole time, right?
Yes.
Got a little bit of downtime.
No, that is true.
And I think my internet is kind of cutting in and out, so I apologize if I missed something.
My internet too, but we had to leave like super early on like 3:30 a.m. And
Good God!
I know. I mean, like I said, like 5 or 6, but I mean, thank to train and just the game on Saturday was early, and then sitting in the locker room for a few hours. Still a fun experience. I feel like regardless of any circumstances.
Yeah, so I think I'm getting a little bit of audio issue. Give me just a second here. Kristen, we'll pause you for just a second and see if we can kind of get that cleared up. So give us just a second here.
Okay.
All right, I think we may have got it cleaned up a little bit more now.
Okay.
All good on your end?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now I can definitely hear you a little bit more. Sorry about that. So kind of looking at the rest of the season, right? Like, of course, making the playoffs and having to beat teams like Portland, like North Carolina, like the OL Reign is going to be super important when you get into the playoffs. What is the team working on now to help build towards that final push?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have 3 games left, so we're just focused every game at a time because the last 3 to making the playoffs. So we got to just comes, and so I think mindset is just to go all in and know that we gave everything we had and we can. With the right mindset, that we're ready to agree.
Yeah. So what is kind of the mindset going into it? I mean, other than win, of course.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's just to focus on ourselves and just have and play for each other, because I think our best one this season have been when we've been playing individually or like trying to doing it as a whole team. We can feel that when we play like that. So we just need.
Yeah, and how do you all kind of pull together, right? Because you have a lot of people from a lot of different countries, a lot of people with a lot of international experience and stuff like that. Talk to me about how does that diversity play into how you all come together as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I have people from all over the world on our team, different experiences, different cultures, with the whole mindset and everyone being on training. And I feel like we the games and training to as much as you can, like saying what our like as if it's a game and how we want to play. Being able to have those quality together is what helps us on the field.
Yeah, and it's that kind of unity, right? Like you playing for the common goal and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I thought this year is like every player is like proud to be with Race on the field too, that everyone's so represent the city that and you have more passion and and more. So I think that's really special.
Yeah, you mentioned like the passion that the fans have and stuff like that. It has seemed like the first season with Racing, pandemic year, doesn't really count, right? Like you can't say the support in the city is X because nobody had a large crowd that year, right?
Yeah.
But kind of since then, and the fan base has grown and the stadium is getting more and more full. What has that meant to you and to the rest of the team?
I mean, I think the games, like, it's just so fun to play and supports you and backs you up. Special. And like the Angel City game when we I mean, that was just weird. And I think as a player, it's just so cool. People that support and believe in that just makes it even a million.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, starting next year, the NWSL is not the only professional league in America, right? We're going to have the USL Super League, right? So, what does that kind of competition look like for you all in racing? Are you excited about it? Are you kind of nervous to see what it's going to be about, or how are you feeling about it?
I mean, I don't really know, and I just heard that the other league, which I think it's really cool that there's a way to and more opportunities for women to in their home country. I don't know how it's going to play out, so I'm excited enough about it. But I mean, I think it's a really more women can play and female soccer player.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I feel too. Like it's not competition directly, right? It's more opportunity. And I
Yeah.
think that's how a lot of the fans should also look at it from just different perspectives. Like it's different cities. They're not going to be another team in Louisville all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have a Lexington team would be the closest, I think, for Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's really cool that it's going to be in all different cities where it can help grow the women's game in soccer. So, I mean, I think that's really cool because there's going to be a lot more exposure to it.
Yeah. Speaking of growing the sport, the NWSL just made a big announcement of adding Boston.
Yes, I know. That's really
What
cool.
does that do for you? Yeah, what does that do for you and the rest of the team? Are you all excited to go there and play them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be really fun. And I mean, I think it just is good that the league's able to keep growing, and that there's interest in expanding the league and adding more teams. So, I mean, I think that's just, I mean, it's amazing that they're able to do that. And this next season, there's going to be Utah and San Francisco. So, I mean, I think it's just going to be so cool to see the league growing, even though it's only my
Oh
second
yeah, that's
year.
right.
But it's still fun to be a part of it and seeing it grow firsthand.
And yes, we did get a goal that says no code. It's a typo on our part by Louisville to move up 2-1 over Miami. So shout out Lou City. Well done, boys. Keep it
Ooh,
going.
good job.
What is that relationship between Racing and Lou City? Do you all see each other? Do you get to scrimmage the guys ever, even if it's just for fun?
Yeah, I mean, we see them in the training facility, like during breakfast and lunch, we'll see them sometimes. So, I mean, we have a relationship there, but we don't really train or like get to scrimmage each other as much. But I feel like that would be really fun to do, especially like maybe
Yeah.
towards the end of the season or like in the off season type thing. Like, I think that'd be really
Oh
fun.
yeah. I think that'd be awesome. Like, I mean, even if you just did it for like charity or something like that. I mean, you could put it at Lynn Family. You could put it at the training facility beginning end of the year.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If that happens, I want sponsorship. I don't have any
Okay.
money, but I would like to at least sponsor it.
Yes, I'll remember that.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll tell Jeff. Jeff, this is
Yes.
who needs to be the sponsor of this game.
Yes.
We'll call it the Bluegrass Bowl.
Yes.
There we go. Wins all around, everyone. Um, so you mentioned, this is only your second year in as a professional, right? You went through the college route,
Mhm.
went to Texas Tech before playing at Racing Louisville. What was there any major adjustment going from, the prep into Texas Tech and then from Texas Tech into Racing Louisville?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about going from like high school to college, you're still so young, and I feel like there's still like so many things that you have to learn. But then when I feel like it's from college to professional, like the soccer stuff, but it's just taking it to like that next level, the highest level. And so for me, I feel like when I came into the professional environment, it was like the main thing that I kind of adjusted with was just the speed of play. Like it's just so much faster than college, high school, everything, like obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think the speed of play is just, it was so much faster. But I feel like the only way that you adapt to it is just being thrown into the trainings and, the more practices and games that you get, you just get used to it and you adjust to that. And so I think definitely with my second year, having a year under my belt now, I think that's just helped me so much with just getting that firsthand experience in games and trainings and being around veteran players. Yeah, but I mean, I think the transition, it went good, and I feel like every college player goes through a transition at some degree, entering the professional environment.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I've never played soccer like organized. I mean, I played a little bit of intramural, but that doesn't really count. So talk to me about like that stair step. So when you're a small youth and you get into middle school ball, like obviously that's more than some of the very recreational leagues that you play in, and then high school, and then college, and then pro. So it just constantly keeps going up and up, right?
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think going from college to professional, on the professional team, everyone was like, one of the best players on their college team. So you're like playing with the best possible people that you could. And so I think that's really cool because I feel like that makes you a better person because you're already playing with people that are bigger, stronger, faster than you. Um, so I think that's just like really cool and like a cool environment to be in because you adapt to that and it makes you better and stronger.
Speaking of competing, it's bigger, faster, stronger. Something that we've talked on this show at length is about promotion and relegation. What would that mean to the women's game in America, and is it something that you would look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would look forward to it. Are you meaning like with the league?
Yeah, so if, say NWSL blooms and it gets to like 60 teams, and there's 3 divisions of 10 or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be cool. I think it would add like a whole nother level of competition. Like, I mean, I feel like that could be fun. Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see if it ever got to that, but it would be cool.
Yeah, it would be. And also, my math is terrible. I have dyscalculia, so completely ignore that I said 60 teams
No,
in
I
three
know, but
groups
I
of
know what
10.
you mean. I know what you mean.
Oh, friend, it has been a very long week. Um, so when you're getting up for a playoff run like racing is doing now, would there be more of an emphasis and more of an urgency if it was for promotion as well, or fighting off relegation, or would it feel about the same?
I feel like it would feel about the same because I feel like going into the playoffs, you're still achieving something. So there's more of that like incentive where I feel like too with like a promotion or relegation, there's an incentive there too. So I feel like it would be about the same, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Kristen, as we're kind of winding things down for tonight, you're the second leading scorer on the team. How do you continue to lead this team, and where? I mean, obviously, you want to go to the playoffs, right? So, like,
Yes.
how do you get the team there as somebody who's a leader on the field?
I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I feel like we just need to focus on ourselves and focus on what we're good at as a team. And like in these next 3 games, if like something in the game's not going right, is to just like keep our calm and just focus on what we're good at. And I feel like just with that mindset of focusing on ourselves and not worrying so much about what the other team's doing or like how the table's doing and like other teams that are winning, like just focusing on what we can control and know that if we take care of the games ahead of us, that will be in the playoffs, and that's our ultimate goal.
How do you block it out though? Like that sounds so challenging. Like
I know it's
how do you do
definitely
it?
easier said than done, but I because I mean I feel like at times it's hard not to, but um, I feel like for me it's just easy to lean on the other girls here because we're all so close and like we have those relationships with each other and just to like focus on the team and the friendships that we have are so strong. So I feel like even if there's a day where someone's like not at their best, there's other the girls are there to like pick you up and like tell you got this, like come on. So it's like I think that really helps.
So it's a good culture that really helps with that. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Kristen, we'll get you out of here on this last question. Where can the fans continue to follow you as well as what Racing Louisville's doing?
um on social media.
Yep.
Like our
Yeah. It just, what would you like to plug? Any the upcoming games you want to talk about or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we play at Chicago next weekend. So I think that'll be a really good game. But then the weekend after that, we play
Easy
at home.
W. Just go on and put it in. 3 points. Don't even worry about the Red Stars. More like the red
Um,
blobs.
but then the game after that, we have our last home game of the season, so I feel like that'll be a really good game against Orlando. So yeah, so everyone should come on out to that game and support us.
Absolutely. Well, Kristen, we really appreciate you joining us tonight, and we wish you and all your teammates the best of luck the rest of the season, and we'll see you in the playoffs, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, man. That was a lot of fun, right? Uh, Big fan of Kristen. Appreciate everything that she's doing for the team and helping lead them on this journey throughout the rest of the season. But with that, we'll now kind of pivot to a little bit more of an old school show. It's just going to be me tonight. So if you're in the comments and you want to say something, please feel free to post it in the comments, and we'll make sure to give it a read. John saying, "Fill the fam." Yes, definitely make sure to be at that Racing Louisville's last home game, which will be as soon as I get it pulled up here. Need to have their schedule memorized. On October the 6th, Saturday, October the 6th at 6:30 at home against the Orlando Pride. And then they, like she said, they play at Chicago this weekend. And then they end the season on the road with the San Diego Wave. But so we'll kind of start there and kind of preview that match in the bottom line. I hadn't got to do it by myself for a while. We'll start with Racing Louisville. This is a big matchup for them against the Red Stars. This is a matchup of two teams that are kind of in opposite positions. Chicago is at the very bottom of the table. They only have 21 points, negative 17 goal differential. But if you look at their last 5 matches, they've only dropped one of them. Meanwhile, you've got Racing, who is sitting in 9th place, only 2 points back of Washington for 6th place. But that loss last week looms large in their pursuit for the playoffs, especially to Houston, which is right behind them at 23 points. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup for them on the road, but I really don't see Chicago being able to put up much of a fight, if I'm being honest. I think Racing Louisville is going to go into this matchup. They're going to have some of their stars out for international duty. Savannah DeMillo and Thimby will both be out as those two countries are playing each other, USA and South Africa. But they released today, I think it was all 6 of the World Cup stars are back with their home countries playing for them or practicing for them. So they're going to be down several players, Racing Louisville will be, for this match. So I think this is going to be a time where they revert back to when they were in the Challenge Cup during the World Cup. And I think they're going to get it done. To me, I think this is going to be an easy victory. I'm going to go 2-0 for Racing Louisville in this one, just because I don't think the Red Blobs will do too much to stop racing at this point. But if you're in the chat right now, go on and put your score for what you think the game could be, and we'll kind of react to some of those as the rest of the show goes on. We will now 7 players total out. Yes, thank you, John. We'll now pivot. We're going to stay in Louisville, and we're going to talk about Lou City, who, again, right now is playing Miami FC, as you can see on the side of the screen here with me. They are currently up 2-1 with goals by Tosh and Harris in the 62nd minute against the other team in Miami. But kind of briefly previewing this match, again, I think this is another must win. I mean, of course, all of them seemingly are must wins at this point for for Lou City, trying to keep ahead of Memphis and trying to hope and pray that Charleston can stumble a little bit and they can jump up to potentially 3rd, maybe 2nd, but that seems pretty far out to jump that far. Memphis is playing right now. They're currently 0-0 with Birmingham. So that result would be very positive for Lou City. if Birmingham can score a goal, that would be even better. But kind of looking at the matchup here tonight, Lou City, deep road trip to FIU Stadium down in South Florida. It's not really a matchup that they should be worried about. I mean, Miami FC is not a team that you would want to face if you were playing your second team, but with Lou City having their whole first team out there, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Did I just see a Miami goal? Or am I hallucinating? Yes, 2-2 now. Oliver has let in a second goal for Lou City. So maybe I was completely wrong. I was thinking that Lou City would come in and blow them out, but Miami FC is hanging tough here. Kind of looking at where they're at in the standings, Miami FC is in 10th. They have no real chance of making the playoffs. So for them, this is a way to break to break Lou City and to really mess with their chances of making it deep in the playoffs. Because if they draw and they still only stay 3 points clear of Memphis, this is going to be a rough go here at the end, because Memphis could easily steal a victory and be tied and or take a position above Lou City. So I'm hoping they can get things going here. Lou City can. We're in the 65th minute now. Still got plenty of time to close this one out. But they do play again on Saturday, and they play against the lowly Loudoun United, who currently sit 11th in the East, which is only one spot below Miami FC, but they are not a good team. When you're looking at this matchup, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. When you're looking at that matchup, it's an easy victory. Loudoun should never be a challenge for Lou City. Both teams right now Lou City right now is on a really good tear, and Loudoun is not. If I'm just being honest. Kind of looking at their results, they had a draw with Charleston. They lost to Pittsburgh, lost to Indy 11, lost to Sacramento. So they've lost, 3 out of the last 4 heading into this game. Now, this game will be at home for Lou City, so this one should be a no-brainer. I think it's going to be a blowout. Give me Lou City 2, Loudoun 0. But I would have gave the same score. Jimmie Curse continues. Yes, it does. I would have thought it would have been a lot closer, or a lot further away than it is closer for tonight. Yeah, so I'm going to go 2-0 for Lou City and Loudoun, just because I don't think that's going to be very, very close as well. But as you all know, I'm a great prognosticator of what's to come, so cheers. Kicking over to our last professional team, we're going to talk about Lexington, who's in their final 4 matches of the season. I know John thinks that there's like a super tiny chance of making the playoffs. There's no shot of making the playoffs for this year. But they do play the bottom team in USL League One, the second to the bottom in the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Again, on paper, this should be an easy victory for one of our teams. Lou City, oh, dang it, man. Lexington has only lost 1 of the last 5. Meanwhile, Chattanooga has only won 1 of their last 5. So coming into this one, all momentum is on Lexington's side. They had a really good performance on Sunday night, drawing with Charlotte 2-2 in Nacho's debut. Charlotte is currently 4th in the playoffs. So Lexington is coming in on a good tear. Chattanooga is not. So I really think this should be an easy home victory for the Chattanooga Red Wolves. But you never know. I would have thought that they would have won that game against Charlotte the other night, but you see what happens. So then if you kind of look at the rest of Lexington's schedule, right, like it gets a lot more difficult after this one. This is a good chance. This may be the last win for Lexington this season. On the road at Forward Madison, at home for North Carolina, and then ending the season on the road at the Greenville Triumph. The Greenville, I almost said a bad word. The Greenville Greens. So I think Lexington should come in on a good pace. I think Nacho will have the guys ready to go. And should be relatively easy for them to beat the Red Wolves. I just don't have a whole lot to say about the Red Wolves. They're just not very good. Not very good at all. Take what back, John? Take back that I think they're going to win 2-0? Statistically, they are still in it, John says. No, they're not. I mean, you can math all you want. I clearly can't from the interview. But I think Lexington, easy victory, 2-0, not even going to sweat it. So, yes, John, losing the other games. Well, life happens, John. We do what we can. But with all of that kind of out of the way, we're going to jump now to kind of updating our college standings and all of the awards and stuff like that. To start off, we're going to start with the Golden Boot. And I believe these should be updated from last week. Let me just make sure. Refresh. Jordan Rhodes from the UK women's team is still tied with Gage Guerrero from the University of Louisville men's, both with 6 goals. Neither have any assists. So it's not necessarily a situation where things have changed a whole lot, and they're not fully updated. We're in the process of getting that updated. We will. I'll give you what I have, and then we'll kind of pivot and we'll post the rest later this week. So the Golden Boot, the same from last week. We'll get those updated for you as soon as we can. But what is updated is the College Cup, and we have a brand new number 1 team coming in this week. We have, what is that? 6 total teams in our top 5, because we have 3 teams tied at 4th and 2 teams tied at 2nd. But we have a clear new number 1. To start, tied at 4th, we have 3 teams, like I mentioned. The University of the Cumberland's women's team, who is 6 victories, 0 losses, 2 draws this season. That gives them a total of 20 points. And they have they have tied for the best record in the state, but by not playing any current in-state opponents to this point, kind of hurts their record right now, but they will get their chances later in the season. So they're currently tied for 4th place. Also tied at 4th place is the Northern Kentucky women's team with 3 wins, 2 losses, 4 draws, 13 points. But in their interstate matches, they're 2 wins and 1 tie. That gives them an extra 7 bonus points. Boom, up to 20. And then the third team tied for 4th place is Georgetown College women, who are 4 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties, 14 points total. And they have 2 interstate wins. Boom, giving them 20 total. Now, there is a bit of a gap between the top 3 and those bottom 3 there. If we come into the tie for 2nd place, both teams having 25 points. But there is a delineation between the two, and I'll talk about it when we get there. In 2nd place, we have Campbellsville men, who have 6 wins, 1 loss, and that's the delineation, and 1 tie for 19 points. And then we have I'm quickly doing my math and I'm like, I don't think I did math right. Live on air math, my favorite subject. The team in second place should have one more point. Because I was off by one. Yes, they should have one more. So, my apologies. There is a clear delineation between second and third place. Third place being Campbellsville men with 19 points on the regular season, 6 bonus points for those interstate matchups for 25 total. And then we have 26 points for the team in second place, which is the University of Kentucky women's team, who have 6 wins, 2 draws for 20 points and 2 interstate victories, giving them 6 bonus points for 26 overall. And that takes us to our new number 1 team, Union College men. Congratulations on reaching number 1. And they had a heck of a week last week. They're currently undefeated, 6 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties. But they got 2 huge interstate wins last week, added to one from earlier this season, giving them 9 total points and 27 overall points to be the new number 1 team. So, a bit of a surprise that, one of our smaller schools have jumped up as high as they have, but it is still good to see that, it's not just going to be a blowout. UK and Louisville aren't just going to be the ones taking the trophy all the way. So best of luck to Union to keep going and to keep pushing. And then, for some of the other teams who are just right outside, there's a team with 19 points, so right outside of fourth place. It's a pretty tight race from, I'd say, about 10th on up. There is a pretty far fall off for some of them. And we do have some teams still sitting on zeros. But hey, I know we kind of harped on Alice Lloyd a couple of times. At least for their men's team, they started putting in results. So hopefully they can put in some results for their women's team soon. That would be nice. But, well, guys, a super short episode this week or for today. Make sure that you are always following us on everything that we have, all our social media channels. We always appreciate the new followers and the new subscribers and stuff like that. So make sure you're following us on all of our channels, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. All those handles are at BG Soccercast. Make sure you give us a listen on all of our incredible podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google, YouTube, Apple, iHeartRadio, and so many more. While you're on those sites, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, and do all that cool stuff. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support us, we do have a My Coffee account. That's what the QR code up in the top corner is. We appreciate all those who have donated and all those ones that will donate in the future. But a super short episode. Wanted to knock it out and get everything in before the end of this Lou City match. Tie. No, Lou City has the lead now, 3-2. So vamos Marauders for that. Keep it going, guys. But I'm Jimmie, and I will see you